So in today's video, I'm sharing how to use feelings to set boundaries in relationships. So you're going to learn the 5 feelings that are going to tell you when you need to set boundaries. And if you're new, my name's Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist and I love helping people create relationships that work. So what are boundaries? They're basically limits you set for yourself that determine what behaviors you will or won't tolerate in your relationships. They're not about getting somebody else to change. They're not giving ultimatums or even making requests. Because for a boundary to be successful, it needs to be something you can control. But most people get stuck in setting their boundaries because they don't know where to start. So these 5 feelings are going to help you know exactly how to set better boundaries. So boundaries only become an issue in relationships when somebody crosses them. So it's really important to use your feelings so that you know exactly how to protect yourself in your relationships. So the first feeling you need to identify in order to set boundaries in relationships is anger. Because anger, when it's healthy, helps protect you from abuse or mistreatment. By the way, healthy anger is really the ability to express your upset without blaming or shaming the other person. And here's an example. A friend asks you to do them a favor that it's going to take several hours on the weekend. You really don't want to do it, but you do it because you don't want to disappoint them and you want to be a good friend. What ends up happening is you get home and you realize you've wasted the entire day and you have no time left for what you really needed to get done. Now you're angry at yourself for saying yes, and you're angry at the friend for asking. That anger is your sign that you crossed your own boundaries. You actually put somebody else's needs ahead of your own, which is a sign of codependency, and I don't want that for you. So the lesson here is that anger was your signal to take care of yourself, because really in your heart of hearts, the answer was no, and you didn't honor that. And that doesn't mean you're not being a good friend. Sometimes in order to live a healthy life, we have to take care of ourselves first, and that doesn't mean you're mean or selfish. So what was the lesson? That anger was your sign that you needed to say no and take care of yourself and not put somebody else's needs ahead of your own. And that doesn't mean you're selfish. That just means that sometimes in life you have to put your needs ahead of other people's, and that's okay. The next feeling that's going to help you set boundaries in relationships is hurt. So here's another example. Your partner pokes fun at you at a family dinner and you're really embarrassed, but you don't say anything. You try to laugh it off because you think, oh, maybe I'm being too sensitive. But later on the ride home, you end up picking a fight because you realize then how much the comment hurt you. Those hurt feelings are a sign that they crossed your boundary, because the lesson here is to speak up for yourself and let someone know what your boundaries are, because everyone has different boundaries. And the more you can know your boundaries and educate your loved ones about what your limits are, that's going to actually help deepen the intimacy in your relationships. Now, if you've ever had trouble setting boundaries, say me too in the comments. I'm right there with you, but this video is going to help. Now, the next feeling that's going to help you set boundaries in relationships is resentment. So here's another example. Your friend only calls you when she needs something, and this time she's doing it again, and immediately you feel resentful. But you do her the favor because you're hoping that things will be different this time, but they're not. That resentment in that relationship is likely a sign of deeper issues that you need to pay attention to. And that's why your feelings of resentment aren't wrong. There's something actually to follow. So the lesson here is to stop expecting people to be different than who they actually are, because people typically don't change their innate personality over time. And let's face it, it's not really fair to expect people to be different than who they are. So another feeling that's going to help you set boundaries in relationships is anxiety. So say you're at a family event and your loved one is drinking too much and you're feeling really anxious, waiting for the other shoe to drop, because let's face it, normally it does. That anxiety is telling you you don't feel safe in that situation. So that's your opportunity to check in with yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do to protect myself? Because that anxiety is letting me know that you're not okay in that moment. And you need to take some action in order to protect yourself. Because taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's self-care. So the next feeling for how to set better boundaries in your relationships is fear. Imagine that your spouse and you are having an argument and your spouse has anger issues, and all of a sudden that fear rises up. They're starting to scream, they're gaslighting you, and it's getting more and more intense. That fear is your signal that something isn't okay with you and you need to leave. You don't want to stay and try to work it out, because when somebody is escalating in their anger, it's not the time to reason with them, because what's going to happen is their anger is going to get worse and worse, and so is the fear. So what's the lesson? You want to use that fear to check in with yourself and say, okay, what do I need right now? And most likely you're going to need to back up and remove yourself, and if there's any kids, from that situation, because your safety is the most important thing in that situation, not how the other person is feeling. Because here's the thing with abusive anger. You can't expect somebody to control their anger when they don't have the skills to. So you really want to ask yourself, is this likely going to get better? Because if the answer is no, you have to leave in order to protect yourself. Now notice that in all these situations, you're honoring and naming your feeling, and that feeling is going to help you understand what boundary you need to set. So remember, by acknowledging your feelings, that's going to help you know how to set boundaries in your relationships. So the next step I want you to do is go watch my video on setting boundaries. Thanks so much.